I guess I'm just gonna start now. Welcome to the Hannah Bunker Show. The name of today's episode is Vulnerability and Naked Faces. This is my face without any makeup, not a stitch of makeup. In my 50 Things About Me video, I mentioned something about myself. I mentioned 50 things about myself, but one in particular, I mentioned that I have something called Trichotillomania. I've had this idea for a little while about making this video, and I really didn't want to do it because who likes to put one of their biggest insecurities on the internet? Apparently I do. I wanted to make this video because I know that there are a lot of people out there who have trichotillomania as well, and I just wanted to let you know that I do too. And so do millions of other people. So if you're a kid, a preteen, a teen, a young adult, if you're nearing 30, if you're way out there in the age gap, you're not alone. And I wanted to make this video and come before you with my bare naked face and almost bald eyelids and patchy eyebrows to tell you that you're not alone. So, trichotillomania, for those of you who don't know, or if you know that you pull out your hair but you didn't know it has a name, it's called trichotillomania, and it is in the DSM-5, and I have a DSM-5 in my house because my husband is a therapist. I pulled it up, and it's in the DSM, trichotillomania, hair pulling disorder. It's diagnosed as an obsessive compulsive disorder, but just wanted to let you know that it is in the DSM and that it's a real thing. You're not crazy. You're not weird. It's an issue that we deal with. I wanted there to be 3 parts to this video. The first part, I just want to talk to you about my experience with my OCD throughout my life. The second part, I just wanted to give you some tips that I've read about and that I've been doing for a while to help my hair grow back after I have a really bad bout of pulling. And the third part was I wanted to do just a really quick, small makeup tutorial to show you how I put on my makeup with very thin, bare, patchy eyelashes and eyebrows, because I know I've looked on the internet for makeup tips for people with trichotillomania. They're very few and far between, so I just wanted to show you how I've learned to do my makeup to make it look like I have hair when I don't. First of all, I wanted to let you know that I've actually written about this before on my blog, so I'll put a link to that blog post in the description box below so you can go read it and get an even deeper glimpse into the story of my life with trichotillomania. I remember it started when I was 10. I was in 5th grade. I was a voracious reader as a kid, and I loved to read. And so I would sit in my beanbag chair in my room and I would read books, and while I was reading, I would find some sort of comfort in sitting and rubbing my eyelashes. It helped ease any pent-up tension that I had in me from just sitting still and reading. Soon that turned into pulling. That was 5th grade, and then I went to a new school for junior high. I had been in private school, and I went to public school for the first time when I was in 6th grade, and I was there for 3 years, and for 3 straight years I had absolutely no eyelashes. I was under a lot of stress. New school, being in junior high, just stress enough, and I dealt with some major insecurities. And I had a few people ask me, hey, just why don't you have any eyelashes? I came up with the most elaborate stories to tell them that made me look like it was an accident instead of that I was actually doing this to myself. One of the stories was, oh, I was helping my dad grill and I got too close to the flames and it just went and it burned all of my eyelashes off. Another story was that I was doing my makeup in the car and my mom hit a speed bump really hard, and when I was curling my eyelashes, we hit it right then and it pulled all of my eyelashes out. Oh my gosh. So I told people those stories because I never wanted anyone to know that I was actually doing it to myself. But at the time, I had no idea that this was a legitimate thing that people deal with, that it's okay if that's your issue. I had no idea that I could have tools to cope with this type of OCD. I had no idea that this was normal. I thought I was the only person in the entire world who pulled out her own hair. I thought I was so weird. I thought I was such a freak because I felt so alone, and I thought I was the only one going through it. But turns out I wasn't. When I was a freshman in high school, I was reading a magazine in a nail salon because my mom took me to get fake nails put on because the longer my nails, the harder it was to pull. And so I was sitting in this nail salon and I was reading this magazine, and it was the Q&A section in the back. I'm getting emotional talking about this. Man. It was the Q&A section in the back of this magazine, and one of the girls, I don't know how old she was, I think she was 17, wrote in and said, "I have a problem of pulling out my hair. Am I weird? Is this something? What is this?" And as soon as I read that, I was like, I'm not the only person who does this. And the magazine wrote and explained the whole thing, gave it a name, and for the first time I felt, this is silly that I'm crying. Ugh. And for the first time I felt like I wasn't alone, like I wasn't a freak, like I wasn't a weirdo. And I stopped being ashamed, and I started working towards getting better. And I've learned over the years, as I had that moment of discovery, I've learned over the years that it's not something that I can ever completely 100% get rid of. And with that acknowledgement, I can show myself so much grace to know that I'm gonna have moments in my life where I'm gonna mess up. I'm human, and I will pull at times in my life. I still have this lump in my throat I can't get rid of. Why? Oh. It still sounds like my voice is shaking when I'm talking. So I wanted to come before you barefaced to show you that you're not alone, that this is still fighting every day, and that is okay. But it's a journey. That sounds so cheesy. We all deal with things in our life differently, and I just happen to deal with stress and anxiety and just plain fidgetiness by pulling out my hair. And if you do the same thing, I just wanted to come before you barefaced, patchy eyebrows and eyelashes to tell you that you are not alone. You are going to make it. You are not a freak, that you are not weird, and that you are absolutely beautiful the way God made you. You are loved very dearly, and that tears again. I just have so much tenderness in my heart for someone who's dealing with that, especially younger kids, because being a young kid, being a teenager, golly, that's rough. So if you're a teenager, or if you're a tween, if you're a kid, if you're dealing with this, just know that there's so much more to me, to you, than pulling out your hair, and that doesn't define who you are. I feel like I'm getting closer and closer to the camera the stronger the point I have to make. Listen to me. You are beautiful. You are valuable. You have so much in you that is so much more than just the hair on your face and on your head, or anywhere else on your body that you feel the need to pull from. So I wanted to make this video specifically for you to know how much value you have beyond any trichotillomania that you have. There, I'm gonna back away from the camera now because I feel like that's getting a little bit aggressive. Okay,